Because, of course, I do. Because Patty like that. How y'all doing out there in YouTube land?
Look at Johnny's shirt. This is the one he was telling us about last week.
Got your books, got your Black Power, got your uterine, got your Rainbow E. Vote. I got it, and it's light as well. Where did I get it from? I got it from Etsy, but I'm pretty sure it's a typical design, so you can probably find it anywhere. So that's where I got it from.
And I got the only dictator I accept is my cat.
They do run the show, so or pets do. Period. I guess. You just think you're going to sleep in until 6:30, and then like 5:45, you get the wet face right there.
Get the pawing at your face.
That's Braxy. Feed me, human. Feed me.
Sage the Scales, you got the same shirt. Yes, check your voter registrations. Take nothing for granted. Take nothing at face value, because you know how they do. They can't win legitimately. They haven't won a presidential election since 1910. So make sure that you go and you check your registration, check all your everythings, and so forth and so forth. Because you know how it's going to be. Good old Trump. If he did nothing, he told us to pay attention. Ain't that something? Enough of him, because it's going to be about him for 2 whole darn hours. Jen Lynn, what you got going on? Anything?
To register for my healing energy seminar, if you would like to learn how to work from the astral body back into the physical and how to channel white light energy, you can go to my website, jenlyntarot.com, and click on the seminar tab. There's more information there that tells you a little more about it. This is not a seminar to come and get a healing session. This is a seminar because you want to learn how to do this. Because there'll be many people there, so I have to teach everyone. But the opening is, you'll only be allowed to register until the end of August, so you only have a couple of more weeks to get registered. And if you'd like an appointment for a reading, you can go to jenlyntarot.com to schedule a reading. I have a few openings, I think in November still, and then December's open.
And I would say for the seminar, if you learn nothing else, meeting your guides was a really big thing people took away from it as well. There's an exercise Jen does where you meet your guides. I actually met a new one at the seminar too. I haven't done a bunch of work to see exactly what they're going to show me to do. The automatic writing, I actually got something on that too, or a message from that too. In the mediumship, if you are interested in that, she has an exercise to walk you through that too. So if you learn nothing else and you just get those few little things, that's a whole lot. Or at least it was for me. I would say.
It all works together. You know, my mediumship got stronger when I learned how to do healing energy work. My clairaudience got stronger because I started hearing, and my clairsentience, because I get twinges in my own body to tell me where to work on someone. So I get this, like, as a medium, I'll pick up like how someone died. If they had a heart attack, I'll get a pat in my chest. Yeah, so it all works together. And the more you practice, the more you open up all those clairs.
It's neat. What was for me?
And anyone can do it. Someone asked me yesterday, she said, can anyone do it? I said, yeah, if you're a natural healer and you've done this before in past lives, you might pick it up quicker. When you get back home and you're practicing on your friends, it might get stronger quicker. But there's a technique behind it, so anyone can do it.
Can you find out about your guides? Yes, you can. Sometimes everything is not revealed to you all at once, because you have to keep in mind too, like when we try to find our guides' names and their backstory, that's when they were here. And so they can give you something to call them while they're there. That way you have some, because we attach feeling to names down here. And so I asked my guide what her name was or what their name was, and it gave me a name. And I looked it up, and I pulled cards too, and the cards matched the description, which I was kind of blown away by. So yes, go on that journey too to find out who they are, and don't give up if you don't get it right away.
it's like angels too. They'll give you a name to call on their energy that is them. You know, they don't really care about names, but they'll give you a name so you know how to call on their energy with intention.
Becca Lenormand with the nice hair. How's it going with you? Anything going on?
I only did my hair because I had to go to the office on Thursday, and I didn't want to walk in there looking like a hobo. So that's why it's fixed. Nothing. Email for readings. Everybody that's emailed, I've emailed back. Check your emails, and that's all I got.
Any possibility of a Vance or Walls tableau anytime in the future?
Yes, I actually drew out the chart for Harris, which I need to do that. It was a crazy week, so I didn't get time after work, or my brain was functioning to sit down and do a tableau, because that's, Johnny, you know, that's a special kind of brain power right there, and it's just like
Takes a lot.
And my brain was out.
You ain't kidding.
After working, I was like, there's no way. So I'll probably try to get one tomorrow. So just stay tuned for that. I won't announce it. I'll just go on, because I have to do Harris, Kamala. And then I wanted to do one on Waltz, and then another one on Shady Vance. Because I just have an inkling that when this whole thing goes sideways, his political career, as far as getting reelected in the Senate, is just,
it doesn't look very good right now.
All his stories, whether they're real or fabricated, are going to come back and bite him in the butt. The couch references. I mean, even Waltz is saying the couch references, even though we know it was a made-up story. Mm-hmm. It's hysterical.
I mean, the guy has changed his name 3 times already. And there's more stuff coming out. A lot of it can be considered gossip. Like the guy on TikTok that's claiming that he found him on a dating site years ago when he was in college, and he dumped him because he had a weird sock fetish. You know, so that could just be hearsay, you know, people just making stuff up. But
well, and then you got the brainworm guy confessing that he left a dead bear in Central Park in New York, in the middle of New York City. Only 8 million people in Manhattan. Hello.
I was just telling Johnny and Jenny in the chat before Johnny went live, because Jenny was telling Johnny about RFK Jr. And I was like, the guy that won't take a vaccine will eat roadkill, because that tracks. You know what I mean?
Because he's so concerned about his health.
Yeah, but he's considering eating roadkill. I mean, like, oh dear God.
I got so for the class, the tarot class, the next one is October 13th through November 17th. If you would like to reserve a spot in the class, then just email me, TarotsApprentice@gmail.com. I'll put your name on the list. We're not taking payments just yet, because there's still time between here and the class for something to go awry. So I'll send you all the follow-up information when we get closer to it. But October, whatever I just said, 13th is when it starts. It's $100. It's 6 weeks. It's live like this, not on YouTube, but live on Zoom, and it is recorded. That way you can watch it back forever and ever and ever. You do not have to have the Rider-Waite, but I will teach from that one, so it may be easier to follow along. But the reason you don't have to have it is because most decks are based upon the Rider-Waite, so the meaning is still the same. So again, if you would like to reserve a spot in the class, just email me, TarotsApprentice@gmail.com. It is 2 p.m. Pacific is when it starts, and it goes for about an hour and a half. I think that's it on that. If you want a reading, I'm doing email readings at the moment. The booked readings are already booked, I should say. The email readings, you just email me your question. They are $20 per question. And so if you have just one question or too, then just send me the email. You can pay via PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App. Also, my tarot deck is now live on the website that I created all by my lonesome. Well, not by my lonesome. I had a lot of input too. But it is live.
See us just jacking around backstage, like, oh, do this and do that. That was fun. That was fun, Johnny.
It led me down the right road. And there is the link in the chat right there if you want to buy it or at least take a look at it or something like that. I have an oracle deck there as well that I made, and a tarot deck, and then there's like some tarot cloths, and then there's a box. For expectation settings, this is printed in China, so it's not going to be here in next week. It takes 2 weeks. I got mine in 2 weeks, so it takes like 2 weeks to get it. I couldn't find a way to put the book with it because I wrote out a little note thing, and I couldn't find a way to put that in there. But it's basic Rider-Waite meanings, of course. But the deck is there. It is live if you want to look at it, and so forth and so forth.
Did you say on a website? Like you launched a website?
It's not my website. They print and ship. So if you have any issue with your printing and shipping, you take it up with them. It is, the link is in the chat, but it's not on my website. No, it's
okay.
on the website. And I should have it in the description as well. I think that was it. The deck, the class, the readings, and for our very first reading tonight, do you want to take it away with Mr. Central Park Air Club?
Brainworm was out falconing with friends.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I got one more. I pinned at the top of the comments right after the live stream. Trillium Tarot has my deck already, or she has a version of it. She has the first version of it, and she did a flip through. So if you want to look at all the cards, go click on that video because she's going to put it. It's going to go live right after we end here. And so just click on the video and you'll be able to see all the cards there too.
Oh,
okay,
awesome.
now, go ahead.
So he was going falconing with friends because, you know, that's what rich people do, go hunting with falcons, right? And saw a woman hit a bear on the road. And he's like, I want to eat that bear. So he stops, he picks up the dead bear and puts it in his car. Then he goes off falconing. So this dead bear is in his car, smelling it up, I'm assuming. And he goes falconing. Then he goes back to Manhattan. He's going back to New York. And he suddenly realized he had a plane to catch. Like, dude, you know, do you not know your schedule? Like, why are you falconing if you got a plane to catch and you got travel and stuff? So he's telling this story to Roseanne Barr in the video, and Roseanne, you know, like when Roseanne looks stunned, you know it's bad. Like, you know, 'cause he's batshit crazy. So he's telling this whole story, and he said, yeah, they had just put in the bike paths in New York, and they were having a lot of problems, a lot of accidents, and people had died. So he said, I decided I'd drop it on the bike path, and I had an old bicycle in the car. So I put it over it like he had died on the bike path and did it as kind of a joke or whatever. Because he's like, because, you know, I didn't want to leave the bear in my car the whole time I was gone on my trip. Well, that would be bad. You'd have like maggots and flies and everything else. So
he thought about eating it. He was going to eat roadkill.
The whole, well, that's the whole reason he picked it up. He picked it up because he wanted to eat it. Now, I've had bear before in my life, but when I was younger, a lot of hunters in the family and stuff. I've had bear before. Bear meat is okay. It's game meat, you know, it tastes gamey or whatever. So whatever, you know, but he had thought about leaving it in the car, like while he went on his trip, like, you know, like it's like gag.
I would never. First of all, I avoid animals when I'm driving, but I have never like seen somebody hit an animal. But I don't think I'd be like, if I saw somebody hit an animal on a road, whether a deer or a bunny or whatever, be like, I'm going to pull over and pick that up to eat it for dinner. Like, what the heck?
Tire marks and all.
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
a bear is pretty big. I mean, even if it's a smaller bear, bears are pretty big. I mean, I've seen the damage a deer can do to a car. I can only imagine the damage that, like, he never mentions if he checked on the woman who hit the bear, if she was okay. But apparently, because it made big news in New York when they found this dead bear in Central Park in the middle of this city of 8 million people. There's over 14 million if you count the burbs, the boroughs around Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. They find this dead bear in Central Park and didn't know who left it, how it got there and everything. And so it was this big hullabaloo when it happened, and it was quite a few years ago. But now they're opening an investigation. So I want to know, is he going to have some legal problems because you just left a dead animal in a highly populated city in the middle of Central Park on a bike path? Well, it was actually kind of on the side of Central Park. So it was discovered rather quickly.
but who just going down the street, you see a dead animal and think, salt and pepper. Like, I just cut,
Yeah,
like,
awesome food.
Boy, if you don't get some words out.
I mean, granted, he knew it was a fresh kill, so to speak. But most of the time, you don't know how long something's been laying on the road.
Good Lord, have mercy.
And he's just telling this story like it's, the most normal, funny story ever. And it's like, dude, you almost left that in your car. Do you have any common sense at all? Like, if I find a mouse that Skewy got the night before, it smells, it's like you want it out of the house.
But at no point do you think, you know what, I bet if I put that in the oven at 350, it'll be all right.
Yeah. Well, he left it in there while he was falcon hunting for hours. And I'm like, God, his car must have reeked.
I mean, he was really hungry. Whatever you were hunting, eat that instead of this. I'm like, okay.
This is the kind of guy that will go to the store and buy milk and leave it in the car for 3 days and be like, oh, it's fine.
It's not green. It's okay. This
is your brain on drugs.
They could do that commercial still and just use his face instead of the egg in the frying pan.
Don't take vaccines, but sure as hell you're okay to eat roadkill. Like, I just make that make sense, Johnny. I don't get it.
So the couch humper or the roadkill crew?
The anti-vax roadkill eater. Oh my God, I bet you he drives around roadside window shopping for like roadkill.
He drives past it. What was that? Let me reverse. It's like,
can I make it into burgers?
Don't think a raccoon. I had that yesterday.
That possum looks mighty tasty.
That's white meat. He'd be all right with that.
Oh my God.
Roadkill gumbo.
Mm-mm.
I can't understand why. It's different if, that's what you do. And you just eat whatever. But if you got the money to have a friggin' falcon, then you go to the store and get you it. I mean, that may be laced with salmonella too nowadays with all the recalls we keep having, but for God's sakes. Becca, what you get?
There's going to be an investigation, but it's going to be a long time before there's any results. Because the guy's just cuckoo bananas in his head. I don't know when something is done, if they've reached a statute of limitations, because there's something that's far off. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, perhaps something has run out, or because there's an investigation that causes a lot of problems, but it runs off. Do you see what I'm saying? And then it's taken too long. So I don't know if there's a statute of limitations for that, but yeah, there is an investigation. It's just going to run off. If that makes sense.
Well, one of the things he did mention is you can take roadkill, but you have to fill out a form with the state to let them know, that you did it or whatever. Like it's almost like a license that you picked it up. He is going to get burdened by this, because he moved an animal and there was a premeditation behind leaving it in Central Park. I do get like he'll try to pay somebody off for this, but the government's going to look into it and others that he was connected to, because there were other people with him, that he was hunting with. There may be something about the statute of limitations on that. I'm with you on that, Becca, but he's going to have some other legal problems. If it's not this, he's got legal problems coming up for something else that they have evidence on. So something else is going to grow that's going to put a big old end to him. May involve money, like paying people off.
Raymond, you in timeout. Where you go?
There's people in the chat that are saying that that some news is reporting that the bear was stabbed to death.
So it was killed and not hit.
Well, how did a woman with a car stab a bear?
Oh, there's Anthony saying that NYPD said no investigations because the statute of limitations is running out. Hence something running away. Yeah, it goes away.
Thank you, JC. Yeah. No trouble, none of that. It is illuminated, but there isn't anything there. But here's the thing. There are a lot more stories. I get no justice or anything like that. However, there is the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Cups. So here with the stress and the worry, the anxiety around the people or around people that are around him. There's a bunch of stories that are coming out to where he looks worse and worse and worse, if you can believe it. Or more odd. It's worrying because he still has political aspirations. But all of this is going to keep coming back with the Judgment card and the Devil card. There's going to be, mind you, the little babysitter story is not over yet either, to where he had some sort of relation with the babysitter or something like that too that was not welcomed, if you know what I'm saying. So there's some things that are still sticking with the Four of Pentacles. And again, it's going to keep resurfacing with the Judgment card. So it's going to go away and come back, go away and come back. A lot of news, a lot of gossip. So if he has political aspirations, I would give up that goat. Don't eat it. Just give it up and find something else to do. You're a Kennedy. Go find something else to do.
Johnny, did you hear that story about supposedly Donald Trump's campaign was hacked?
That's our next story.
Thank you. See, look, great minds think alike. Great minds think
alike. The Trump campaign statement cited a report published by Microsoft on Friday, saying June 2024 Mint Sandstorm, a group run by Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, intelligence unit sent a spear-phishing email to a high-ranking official in his campaign. And from the compromised email, an account of a former senior advisor as well, the phishing email contained a fake forward with a hyperlink. First of all, okay. I mean, it's not common, I suppose, but I thought most people knew if you get an email from some random something with a link in it, don't click it at all. If you don't know that, you know it now. Don't click it. I don't care who it's from. If you don't recognize it, don't click it. Even if you do recognize it and it's just a link and you had no idea why they sent it to you or where it's coming from, because mind you, here on YouTube, as you have all seen, or most of you, there are a lot of people duplicating readers' accounts and saying, whatever they're saying on these different community posts or in the comment section or something like that. So even if none of us here are going to solicit you for nothing, we're not going to email you asking you for nothing. We're not going to email you links for you to click. So keep that in mind. I can just speak for us up here. And so if you get something, don't click it like that. Anyway, the phishing email contained a fake forward with a hyperlink that directs traffic through a actor-controlled domain before redirecting it to the listing domain. So they captured a bunch of information, claims Donald Trump. So first question is it true?
Johnny, you said it blamed Donald Trump because a lot of the stuff that I have read, it was bad stuff on his VP pick. So for clarification, it was on him or Shady Vance?
I got Donald Trump's campaign was hacked, is what it said there.
Mm.
Well, he said his campaign was hacked, not that his campaign was hacked. He said his campaign was hacked, which is that true? That's my question, I guess. The shirt came from Etsy. I believe you can get it anywhere. That's where I got mine. Was he hacked?
Messenger's falling out. And they try to blame the Dems for everything,
Mm-hmm.
I get manipulating an institution to take something away. Manipulation, institution, take something away. Now, what I have read was that he claimed that he got hacked and they only told Politico. So out of all the news stations, why did you only go to Politico? And all the stuff that was hacked was bad stuff on J.D. Vance.
And Politico supposedly now is owned by a right-wing nut job.
Manipulating institution to take something away. Did he get hacked? No. It's a scheme to take something away. Something official. Because it sits in the middle.
We're gonna hear more about this too. That it's not done because there's a lot of money behind this in the messages, and when somebody looks into it, they're gonna see this is a made up inspiration illusion. It's made up. Gaslighting. They could end up facing some charges over this indictment because it's made up, false, or what do you call it when you
manufactured?
When you Smartmatic when they sued Fox, slander. What do you call it?
Defamation.
Defamation.
Mm-hmm.
Like defamation because it's manipulated.
And also going back to my read, tower is your self-esteem, mice takes away. So it's like low self-esteem, manipulating or manipulating something because of low self-esteem. If that makes sense.
That's what he gets for going to Montana for rallies. Oh my God, that was the most pathetic rally.
And he couldn't land there because he still owes him a crap ton of money.
Well, that's my next question. There's the
high specific, Johnny. We know what your next question is.
High priestess, this would be like secret info, if you will, that only he would have or they would have. access to. There is an action here, and then there is some sort of walking away and abandonment with the 8 of Cups. There is a group here, so I can't say there's not one watching him, but was he hacked? I would say no. Is it, go ahead.
Oh, no, please finish. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Is it a, here's why I say no. It could be yes. I could be wrong, right? But here's why I say no, why I lean no. Because this is some sort of plan they walked away from. His ear's okay. There's nothing there anymore. It's fine. No scab, no nothing, no stitches, no nothing. His ear is fine. His plane had mechanical issues. When you read the comments, and I've read a few comments on a few different posts of the plane stories, all his supporters are like, pray for Trump, they're trying to take him out. Pray for Trump, they're trying to take him out. Pray for Trump, they're trying to take him out. Because they believe his plane was sabotaged. He does things now for publicity and got upset when the Olympics took the rain away from his little ear debacle. And then Kamala Harris took the reins away from that too, because no longer running against Biden. And so the things he keeps trying to put out, so I could just be biased in reading this the wrong way. So keep that in mind too, but it just feels like stunts after stunt after stunt, which is another one of the questions. But
he doesn't have the money to keep up his plane, you know. He doesn't, and that's expensive. Like if I was Secret Service, I wouldn't get on that plane because I guarantee you it's not safe and inspected all the time.
And another thing about my read, it was the fox, the tower, and the mice. Another way you interpret that too is manipulating something for an official loss. So he's already priming the story that when he loses, it was because it was rigged.
It's rigged. Yeah. They're doing that now. So why was his plane diverted?
Wait, what happened with his plane?
He diverted.
It had mechanical issues. He was supposed to land at the airport in
Bismarck, I think it was, and he had to land at in another town.
And then drive back to the rally or something like that.
Like, why are you going to Montana? There's not that many people that live there. I'd be going to swing states and stuff where you might impact voters. Montana, he's going to win, you know, because it's predominantly Republican.
Because his heart will go on. That's why.
he needs to be around supporters that really love him.
Mm-hmm. The rest of them on the Titanic with you. Why? Look at what you get.
I want to say it's because he doesn't pay his bills, but there's nothing in my read that would support that he doesn't pay his bills. I have no money cards. Perhaps problems with the control tower or something like that. This would be the airport problems there. So confusion, literally bad weather, which I don't think there was.
They told him he couldn't land.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually getting it planned.
Problems with the tower, so.
I'm actually getting it was planned to not go there. Because he's trying to give birth to something else. And to show he's been betrayed or whatever, there's going to be illumination on he's trying to be the victim, you know, betrayed and burdened. And especially by like Biden. But there's something he's paid for that's not going well. or something money he's trying to get that's not going well. He's about to get trapped in something he doesn't want to get trapped in, because somebody's looking into it. Two of Wands, he has a little spyglass in his hand. I don't know if you can see that with the glare. He's holding a spyglass, like looking into it. He's about to get betrayed for something that he's tried to keep secret with the moon card here. The tower, it's about to break open. And Ten of Swords, he could end up in a straitjacket.
As a matter of fact, at that press conference, I use that term very loosely, that he held at Mar-a-Lago, people like took that video and photoshopped him in a straitjacket. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
He's gonna end up locked up in a mental hospital before it's all said and done.
I get too that there may be some kind of plan, or because the Two of Cups is an agreement. There's the Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. It's like this was agreed upon to do so. This was not. The Two of Cups is not a spontaneous agreement. So it's not like you are flying through the air and they say, sorry, you have to go elsewhere because of whatever. This is something you calculated. Because, this is a merchant and then that's the buyer. So it's something to where you have to plan this. Defending against changes that have something to do with him not wanting to let go of his fame and his fortune. So he didn't want to let go of some kind of money there.
Maybe he had to meet up with the dog killer, Christy Nolan.
Okay.
Just to get petty for a minute. Go ahead and spit it out, Johnny.
First of all, let me say this too, because again, I keep saying it. It sounds simple, but I'm going to say it again. When you erode trust, trust is eroded. You can't just get it right back. So CNN and MSNBC, you are working slowly to disengage everybody that has ever watched you ever. When Kamala Harris, the person who's running for president on the other ticket, is running for president and you don't show her rally, but you show Donald Trump's, that says something. Where did I see Kamala Harris's rally? PBS on YouTube. So that's a big deal. That's kind of a big deal. Not to mention she had 8,150 million people there and Donald Trump had 4 and you decided to cover that one instead of the other.
And I will say this, I got to give mad props to Lawrence O'Donnell, who ripped mainstream media a whole new a-hole for that bull crap. He's like, you all are doing 2016 all over again.
He went on a great rant. If you have not seen it, look for MSNBC on YouTube. There's a video out there of him doing the rant. Well deserved also. He's like, quit giving him airtime.
And I saw that thing too. Ari Melber had the freaking Nazi on his show. I was like, you know what? I've stopped all of my DVRs only to Nicole Wallace, Lawrence O'Donnell, the Rachel Maddow, which is only Mondays, and the lady that took over her place. And that's it. That's, once in a while I'll watch Chris Hayes because he doesn't do the BS either, not much, but it's just like
I can understand if Ari was trying to expose something with Stephen Miller, but it's like, don't give them airtime.
Especially him. He's not running for anything. He's not in anybody's administration. Why are you talking to him?
Exactly. He's disgusting. And then Andrea Mitchell and that other lady always playing devils. It's like, just go work at Fox News at this point. Just go. Just go.
So my first question in this vein is MSNBC, will single them out. Will there be some change going forward since they have been called to the carpet when it comes to covering Donald Trump events and Kamala Harris events?
What's the question again? Will there be
any changes? when it comes to covering those events.
Joy Reid has been did for a whole week on her show, going in depth on the Project 2025 agenda. That's been a wonderful and eye-opening, but a lot of people just aren't watching it and getting informed.
Luckily, TikTok is helping.
Yeah.
You could say that about social media nowadays.
There's a yes on the bottom. But you got to remember, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, they're all owned by right-wing people who don't want to pay more in taxes.
And it's like all these daytime people, with the exception of Dateline White House with what's her face, Nicole Wallace, who, by the way, is a Republican, you know, but I watch it because she's, yes, my bias, and she's a Trump basher as well, but she doesn't sugarcoat it either. Do you know what I mean? Where Katie Tur, Andrea Mitchell, Morning Joe, I mean, it's like you guys are just apologists at this point. Just go ahead and say you're normalizing this behavior, that it's totally fine, you know?
I get a yes. Part of it's coming from an abundance of disgust with what they've been doing in the past, how they've done it before. It's like, so their image is getting tarnished. But I also get like advertisers, you know, the payouts, separating out some and leaving them in the cold. So they're losing advertisers. And that will cause them to kind of change things a little.
I guess the Crossroads, the dog, the lilies, key, and snake. Will there be changes with a couple of people? Crossroads, lilies, and snake. That's two people that are leaning conservative, that are viewed as a betrayal to the people that are loyal to the station. Crossroads and lilies, two conservatives, or alternatives that are rather conservative, but they're lies and betrayals there. So kind of like whitewashing with the lilies here, and making this a bit more palatable. Presenting this in a more alternative, conservative way, but it's still a snake. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then the people that are loyal to the network are like, no. So,
because that's what CNN did for the Trump, the RNC. They made it look like a normal event.
Yeah, and the people that are loyal are just like, yeah, no. So this is not something that happens overnight, though. It's gonna take some time. This is not 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months. This could be years. It needs time to gestate, mature. Do you see what I'm saying? So just, you know, I guess, you know, use your remote controls. People, you don't like it, don't watch the show, watch the ratings go down, and then they'll be like, oh, maybe this messaging isn't working. Kind of like everybody bashing Biden to drop out, but nobody says anything about Donald Trump ranting about sharks and electricity and Hannibal Lecter. Okay.
Who now thinks that Biden's going to go to the convention and try to run again?
And here's the thing. People finally figured out why Trump kept talking about Hannibal Lecter, because he's confusing people from the insane asylum as people seeking asylum in the country. He thinks they're coming from the same place. They figured it out. Yeah.
Oh, he's mentally fit, didn't he? 3 of the cops there is the community. So the community has the power. Your advertising dollars, even though you don't give them the advertising dollars, your eyes are advertising dollars. The advertiser goes where the eyes are. So if you don't watch, they don't get paid. Because here is the Ace of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. That could be your agreements in your contracts and things like that. There is a new action that follows that. The Six of Swords is out of troubled water. And just like Becca said, it takes time. You have to go through the storm first to get to the calm water. And so they will have some changes, but this takes some time. And I will say kudos to those who are willing to call out their own network, kind of like Shepard Smith did when he left the Fox Den.
Yeah.
It takes some of that inside voice to change that outside structure. And so, let's see. My next question, though, is will his rally crowds get smaller and smaller? Right now, he had about 4.5 people there at his last rally, and they were just milling around listening to the Celine Dion tunes.
What did you see the setup in front of the courthouse for Vance's? I mean, it was like the only people there were reporters. There were no supporters.
Oh.
So will the Trump rallies get smaller and smaller?
Bless his hearts. The MAGA is dying, and that's it's crazy too. Like, keep this in mind. Kyle Rittenhouse denounces Donald Trump, says I'm not voting for him. Joe Rogan says I'd like RFK. You know, he sounds like a better option. Both of them backpedaled because of MAGA. You let these people push you into the corner like that? Okay.
It's like, how do you like it? You've been sicking them on everybody else. Now you're getting the threats. How do you like that? What about fear play?
Well, they get smaller and smaller.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Will Donald Trump's rallies get smaller? Child, there's your small.
There it is.
Man, mountain, yes, they will get smaller. Soon he'll be just sitting there talking to paid actors, and that's it, what they can afford to pay because he's broke. So, speaking of which, I saw the video of Trump at some rally, and the people behind him, you know how he likes to pay paid actors and stuff, and that's why he's saying that the Harris campaign is doing that. It's like, no, that's an admission. We all know you do it. There was a black guy holding a "You're fired" sign because he had people behind. Did you see him? He was like giving Donald Trump this, like, if you're watching the TV, he's to when you're looking at the TV, he's to the left, meaning that he's to Donald Trump's right. So he's standing back here to him. And every time Donald Trump would say something, the guy would take his sign and be like that, you know, like, you're fired, you're fired.
A lot of people staying home, laying low around him. Now, where Trump is going to be all smug about it. Like, look at all these people that are coming out, and he's got the donors still giving to him. But yeah, he's toast. He's done. He's going to do what he's always done at the rallies, and people are casting judgment, and they're shifting away from him. They're getting tired of it. And I get the heal. This is my card for America. The healing of America. They're turning their backs on him and looking to support another party. So they're getting behind Harrison Waltz.
There's your talking. Will it get smaller? Yes. There's your confirmation. But there is some blame coming. Like he's going to blame Kamala or something like they're stopping people from coming in or something to that nature. He's going full on paranoia, and he's saying it's somebody.
Did that last week at one place. He kept saying, "Let the people in." They're all in. There's no line outside. He's like, it's empty up here. Let everybody in. And then he tried to blame it on the police or whatever, that they wouldn't let everybody in.
So
I will say this though. I think it's hilarious. Think about it. Would you go to a political rally where all you're hearing is one person's grievance, not their policy positions, not what they're going to do for you, how they're going to uplift your community? No, me. For the last 8 years, the same message about me over and over and over. I just saw a video on Twitter where people were walking out of his last one in droves. It's like,
he's boring. They're tired of listening to the mouth going on and on. And
speaking of the mouth going on and on, it didn't take long. Rumor has it he has called Kamala Harris a bitch.
mm-hmm.
in front of Barron,
on his little golf cart, he called
with
her.
Barron.
Say it. Can I? That fucking bitch is what he said. Mm-hmm.
And he pronounced her name right, so we know he knows how to.
Yeah, he knows how to say
He
it.
called her a bitch.
He called
It
her
is
a-
very easy to say Kamala. Let me say this because I want to say this before we get to the next round of questions. I keep calling Tim Waltz, and I probably am going to keep calling him that because that's the way it comes out of my mouth.
Yep.
But you know who I mean.
I do the same thing because in my head, like I see it
As
like
Waltz.
like
Yeah.
it's just missing the T. I see it like the word waltz, and I keep mispronouncing his too.
But he has now called her, he's projecting because he's calling himself. But what I want to know actually is not even about him. I want to know between here and the election or the end of the year, will someone at Fox News be fired for what they say about Kamala Harris? Because right now, she's just a bitch. Later on, she could be something else. And so, well, between here and the end of the year, will someone at Fox News be fired or at the very least scrutinized for their coverage of their future president?
Or sued for defamation for a lie. Like they didn't learn anything from the defamation lawsuit. And they still have another one to go. You know, they got rid of Tucker, but they still got a whole trove of nasty people. It's crazy.
Because Obama was a thug. Thug is code word for the N word. Okay, I get you.
That's right. Trillium Tampon Tim stops the red wave.
That's so stupid.
It's like, let's call him Tampon.
And they think that's an insult.
for him putting female sanitary products in schools so that girls don't have to walk around embarrassed when they accidentally start their periods, which, by the way, it's a thing. You might want to shame women for getting periods. It doesn't make them stop or go away.
Mm-hmm. Or if you just got up, you went to school because you got 100 other things on your mind and you forgot. Oh, I can get one at school.
Or your family is too poor to where you can't afford to get freaking female products. You know? But yeah, let's monitor periods because that's not creepy.
And that's an insult.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
When you all were wearing freaking maxi pads with wings on your ears just a few weeks ago in solidarity with.
And you didn't call him free lunch, Tim, because he gave him free lunch too in school.
Mm-hmm.
So I get they try to temper the loser, Trump, who has all the celebrity attention, so to speak, but is very erratic. So they're trying to temper the image. But people are like starting to turn their back on it. That may cause them to think about it and reflect and get a different view on. I'm getting attacking Biden for something, going after Biden for something with the election, like rigging the election, manipulating it. They're working together with people on this, so they're going to accuse. Yeah, they're going to do the big lie, and they're going to accuse Biden for it.
I can see that.
Not Kamala.
Because he made sure she got in or something like that.
Yeah, like he had Trump's votes thrown out or whatever.
He's so unhinged right now that he's like writing fanfic for himself.
His little pupils were so tiny. I'm like, okay, you definitely went and visited your kid Charlemagne before that event. Y'all know the reference if you're Steely Dan fans.
Will somebody be let go at Fox News for what by the end of the year for what they are saying about Kamala Harris? There's a strong chance. The child, the sun, and the moon. It might have something to do with kids, might have something to do with children, women that don't have children, something. It could have something to do with children. But it's the way that they're advertising it. And there's this narrative is something that they're putting a lot of statement and power behind. Something to do with a child that they're marketing here, that they're putting a lot of energy behind. So they might come up with some bull crap, but there's something around children that they say that, and then they just keep hammering the same thing. So
McDonald's cholesterol kicking in. The Knight of Cups, the person with the sugary words, the Nine of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, and the Three of Wands, they're trying to watch it. They're trying to watch it very closely because this is very dangerous territory, because you sent the black guy out there to question her race. Donald Trump did it because Donald Trump's Donald Trump. But you sent Byron Donalds on a tour to call her everything but, a child of God. And so we only take cash around here, Byron, not tokens. So be gone, sir.
Byron Donalds is just disgusted.
At me. I have one more Trump question, and we'll go into Tim Walz. Something a little more lighter, hopefully. Donald Trump. Give me the thing. I got it right. Oh, okay. There's this child named Aiden Ross who has 4 million subscribers on
the freaking butt sniffer.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he sniffs chairs after people sit in them. He's a butt sniffer. He and Vance should get together because they would be a match made in heaven.
He's a butt sniffer, Johnny. I know who you're talking about. The TikTok guy that did the interview with Donald Trump and gave him the Tesla and the Rolex.
And he's good friends with that pedophile that got stuck in Austria or wherever that was.
Oh dear God! I didn't hear all this.
He's a Johnny. Well, he doesn't walk up to people and sniff their butts. But if you're sitting in a chair and you leave, he'll sniff. Yeah, he goes and sticks his face in the chair and smells it.
There's videos of sniffing chairs after people get up and walk out.
Okay.
That guy was a joy to watch, because you want to talk about stupid. You want to talk about, he couldn't even pronounce the word fascist when he was reading it.
Yeah, he can't read.
He can't read. He's got a second grader has better reading comprehension than that kid.
He's got 4 million subscribers on YouTube, 7 million on Instagram, and 1.3 on Kick, which is a streaming site that's really popular with the young crowd.
Thank you, Tammy. He's Andrew Tate's buddy. Andrew that got caught with trafficking and all that.
Didn't you?
Yeah. But he's a rich kid. He's got money, and yet he can't read. He is so illiterate, it's not funny.
It's not even, it's funny because Trump said he really loves the poorly educated. Here you go.
There you go.
I hope you're smart with your money, because soon enough that well's going to dry and you're going to be sitting there trying to get a job at McDonald's and you can't even read the menu.
First he said Barron liked him, watched his videos and got him to do the interview. And then he was talking about Eric and Jr. watch his videos. It's like, yeah, there you go. Y'all are all just
stupid.
Stupid kids watching a stupid kid.
But please tell me again how Kamala Harris is stupid. Please. I'll wait.
That one, I still don't understand that one. I mean, I get the whole bar exam thing fine, but how do you go from she can't pass the bar to now she knows absolutely nothing? She's a stupid person.
That's
she
why
couldn't be an AG if she hadn't passed the bar exam. At
not just that, she couldn't even be a prosecutor before she even became AG of California.
Ask Jim Jordan.
But hey, I challenge you to a cognitive test, Johnny. I challenge you to a cognitive test because somehow that's a measure of intelligence in Donald Trump's brain.
It's like, which one's the man, which one's the woman? Those are ink pens, sir? You want to... So my question is, I said this, and he was a minor at the time, so we didn't read on it. That little ragamuffin, Barron Trump, was going to be just like his daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And
like
naturally, Mama Bear's going to protect him, and she's going to keep him away from that. No, she's not.
And she's
you have to remember, Melania Trump is not a good person.
She's just as nasty as Trump.
And Christmas.
He is also a Trump. They all act like that because they all come from that line of child rearing. Donald Trump, when he was younger, wanted to be a different person too. But his dad was like, no, you're going to be this. And now here we have what we have. Is Barron Trump going to be another Donald Trump?
Because let me tell you, I chose to be different from my parents. I chose a different course. It is doable. Why his kids can't seem to get that message?
It's easy to be him because he doesn't have much responsibility, and they don't want any either. Until the court says
they're all lazy. They're all lazy. His mother lies to him too. So it's not just Trump's lies, his mother lies to him too. He's been gaslit his whole life. But I get if he tried to walk away, he'd be blocked. Like they watch over him. In the future, he may feel like he's being pushed out in the cold and burdened. But his mom lies to him too. He's surrounded by liars about his dad. So, and he's looking for that payout. He's looking for the money.
I get the opposite of that.
Do you?
The child, the lilies, the coffin, the fish, and the scythe. That kid's going to go through some depression later on, perhaps after the passing of a certain person. Because the money, I understand he probably has a trust of some sort, but here it says it gets cut off. So who knows if the money in the trust was fraudulent, or I don't know, those stand-up siblings that he has don't cheat him out of
take it away like he took it from Fred Trump and his kids.
Do you see what I'm saying? It says that he's going to have to mature in as far as for him to be independent, maturity and independence, and maturity and being a business person. But there has to be something that needs to be cut out. So maybe the family business, cut off from the family business here. If this is the business, he's cut off here. I don't get that he's after the money. I get that they're going to try to swindle him out of the money, and he's going to have to take off the rose-colored glasses and take a good look at.
Because there's not that much money left anyway.
His family is, you know.
His mom hopefully has stashed some in all her renegotiated prenups.
But then again, how soon before Melania herself ends up getting some sort of
her money, not his.
Drawing the attention of the IRS. I mean, if Donald Trump has been cheating the IRS for decades and decades and decades, don't you think Melania has been doing the same damn thing?
Yep.
Or if they've put the money in a trust or something, it's done weirdly to where, I mean, I'm just getting that the kid's in for some losses. Here's the child, here's depression and losses, there's losses. He's going to get a rude awakening. He's going to get a very rude awakening. And I don't get that he's after the money. I get that they're going to try to take the money from him. And that's when he's going to be like, oh,
It's more like he depends on the money because he's not going to be equipped to make it in this world. So he depends on the money for the lifestyle that he's used to. Riding around in golf carts, you know, he's not going to have a 9-to-5 job.
With the King of Swords, there's his dad. There is some sort of blockage with the Two of Swords. So is he going to be just like him initially? And then something happens, change of fate with the Wheel of Fortune, and he is deeply isolated with the Hermit. He is also a mold to where he is going to conform to who's around him. He doesn't really, most teenagers, he doesn't really have his identity yet. And so he kind of forms to what's around him. So with the Three of Pentacles, he becomes somebody else with the fraternity. If he happens to meet people in that walk of life. And then if he ever starts working at the Trump organization or whatever organization, because mind you, if it's true, then he has a connection to Martin Shkreli, the guy who, the Pharma King bro, or whatever his name was, that guy. And so he conforms himself to around certain people. But will he be just like him initially? Yes. And then I think the hand of fate changes him a little bit and isolates him. And he may just start acting like his brothers, to where they're very feckless and they're trying to appease father. And then when father's not there, what do they have? And so they're all going to kind of go through this aimless period when, dirt nap.
I've never even seen many pictures of him talking with his brothers and sister.
I've only seen one picture just recently of Barron with his dad, and that was when his dad just called Kamala a bitch. He was in the golf cart with Trump. But mostly I've seen him with his mom and other events that they kind of drag him to, and he just looks miserable.
Yeah, he never seems like he's socializing with his siblings, his half-siblings.
I really think he's on the spectrum. That could just be me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's everybody.
I think he's somewhere on the spectrum. Or he could just be a normal person, and that is a coping mechanism that he's developed, being surrounded by freaking psychotic people.
Most kids too, because they do this to celebrity children all the time. They look miserable because they don't want to be photographed and followed around. Now he's a teenager, he's possibly in that role too.
6'7" and sticks out like a sore thumb.
Sticks out.
And
he could just be he's probably not adjusted. He's sheltered and catered. So,
he lives surrounded by a bunch of freaking sociopaths.
Mm-hmm.
His dad's a sociopath number one, and then you have all the siblings minus Ivanka, who's over there trying to figure out how to shaft somebody in the back when they're not looking. But they're all over there fighting each other. So it's like.
So this may sound like a silly question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just to be fair. But I have a few things to read first. First, a financial disclosure revealed that Walls does not own a single stock, bond, or piece of real estate or business. He doesn't have any book deals, speaking fees, or crypto.
Mhm.
Walls and his wife had a net worth of between $112,000 and $330,000 in 2019 disclosure, while JD Vance had between 3 and 10 million. Don't punish success, I understand. But when he was also up for a raise there in his home state, he declined it and said, give it to the next person. He doesn't seem like the greedy type. And he has a list of accomplishments like giving children free
lunch,
free
tampons.
lunches, and then the tampon king he is now. Go ahead, you. Very much so. And they seem to have one gripe, is because he misspoke when he said he carried a gun in war. He was not in war. He didn't see live action or whatever they call it. So they said he misspoke. The campaign is saying he's misspoke, but that's all Vance and Trump have to hang on to right now, because it's almost like you went and got Obama 2.0 to help you run for president. He's got this clean record and everybody likes it.
They started the whole stolen valor thing, and meanwhile, Trump took a Purple Heart from a veteran and kept it. Talk about stolen valor.
Bone spurs.
Trump had bone spurs. He sent some other poor bastard to Vietnam in his place.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Purple Heart from a veteran.
Walls was in the military, what, 20 something, 30 years, whatever it was. 24 years
in the Guard.
So the question is, will Tim Walz help the Harris campaign? That's my question.
Because a lot of veterans have been coming out about like what his title was in the military and stuff, because they keep screwing that up, and they're like, if you're going to listen to Mr. Bone Spurs, who thinks that anyone
Vance, who spent 6 months in an air-conditioned office writing newspapers for the freaking Marines, and you're going to take that guy's word, who was only in the Marines to write for the freaking newspaper, over the guy that served 24 years.
The one who wouldn't visit the cemetery on the D-Day anniversary when it was raining because he didn't want to mess his hair up. You're going to take that guy's word?
His eyeliner would have melted. It's not waterproof.
Johnny, did you see how Fox News is trying to paint Tim Walz for not owning any stocks and stuff?
But what happens again? These insults, that's not an insult.
He's anti-capitalist. Somehow a public servant not being corrupted with insider information like all these other yahoos in the Senate and in the House right now. Don't tell me those people aren't insider trading. You know who else doesn't own stocks? Bernie Sanders and the Progressive Caucus. Everybody else, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, all of them are trading stocks with information they're getting that nobody else is freaking privy to. But somehow it's a bad thing that we don't have more corruption.
For him. They don't have much, which is... I have one more question.
They have nothing, Johnny. Being mean is not a flex. Exactly.
Like, find something else.
Yes, he helps her, and part of it is because of his speech, his speaking. He's plain spoken. He's an Aries like me. He has no filter on his mouth, and she needs that so she can stay professional, and then let him say all the bad stuff. He's kind of like her Jasmine Crockett. He can go out and say bleach blonde, bad built butch body, and it's okay. So yeah, very good to support her as the Aries man. It's a lot of hard work, but his image with speaking changes people to look at the work he's done. It changes people to vote for them. So yes, I get very powerful, viewed independently of her, like very strong, very powerful, and not taking the bullying. He's gonna push back on anybody that tries to bully him.
Does Waltz help the Harris ticket? That's an absolute yes. The dog, the anchor, and the fish. This is a person that is unwaveringly loyal and trustworthy and protective, very independent, but also a person that you can trust for businesses. And I'm not talking corporations. This is the card of the entrepreneur, small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And he also helps people bring in abundance. He helps the ticket with abundance, with a lot of. Do you see what I'm saying? Prosperity. But he's unwavering in trust, loyalty, protection. Protecting. This is also the card of independence and freedom. Fish kind of just swim wherever. You don't put them on a leash and walk them around. Do you see what I'm saying? So he is a very strong, solid person on the ticket.
And he's turned down pay raises as governor even.
What are we going to get him on? Oh, he doesn't trade stocks. He's anti-capitalist. Corruption is great.
There's strength in world victory with the Six of Wands. So yes, does he help? Absolutely. So
did you see the video of the mayor? I don't know if it was the mayor or the governor of Arizona or Nevada, one of those states that came out at a rally and endorsed Kamala Harris.
Arizona. There were several Republicans in Arizona that came out.
No, but just recently there was a rally. I don't remember if it was in Nevada or what, but the mayor or the governor, one of those two, spoke at it and said, put your party, don't be loyal to your party. Your party is going backwards. Go for this ticket. I was like, damn. Yeah.
We're starting to see Republicans failing ship that realize, okay, this is a mess. Trump is not worthy of endorsement.
He wasn't like here's what I don't understand. Okay, he won the party's nomination. They didn't have to nominate him at the convention. The party, once again, failed to clean their hands and say, this guy is a convicted felon. He is a liar. He tried to overthrow our government. I mean, you could just list like a CVS receipt, a mile long of stuff. And they could have chosen to not nominate him. That's up to the DNC's discretion. Instead, they went along with it. Yeah.
He's pro-union too, and as they're commenting in the chat, the unions are all getting behind Harris. Waltz.
Teachers unions, workers unions, labor unions, all of them.
So my next question, though, before we put the cart before the horse, let's see what's in the cart. Is there any
dead bear?
Is there any damaging information coming out about Tim Walz that would actually hurt the campaign?
I'm going to sit this one out because I plan on doing a GT. Is that okay?
That would actually hurt the campaign, not just some flippity story coming out. Just so we're aware before it happens. But I think they'd have found it by now. But let's see what the cards say. JD Vance has got quite the history, though, doesn't he? But no, what about ism? Let's see. Anything coming out?
just from Trump doing what he does, trying to spread lies. I get, that there'll be some anxiety about something that is harvested on him, maybe around children. So maybe trying to make him out as, something with children. But his supporters are coming out in abundance, and whatever comes out to burden him is manipulated. Like, it's planned and manipulated, and it gets blocked, so it doesn't work. I don't get anything. I just get he gets an abundance of supporters.
First things is there's a burden around truth. Not because they told the truth and that creates the burden. It's because you're trying to tamper down or whatever. Like, you're trying to spin a story. I don't get the magician, but I do get the moon. And this is a plot of some sort, but all the details are under the surface. There is the children aspect here, but it's almost with the Page of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups and the Three of Pentacles. It's like he introduced some sort of tax or some sort of, like he gave something. They're like he's a socialist or something like that. They're trying to do one of them type of banners to where he was trying to punish rich people or punish somebody to take care of other people's kids, like the welfare kids or something like that. It has something to do with kids and money and how he was trying to manipulate something to favor, there's also, that's probably one thing too. This is coming, well, it's coming out already, so it can't, probably not it. There is something around him giving tuition to immigrants or migrants or something like that. That's the news story out there right now, is that he has some sort of tuition that he was giving to people so that they can go to college for free, and it included immigrants, if I'm not mistaken. And so there's something like that too, but they're trying to attack him over helping kids and money. But this is not just giving them money. This is like something in place to where they'll always have it, type thing, like a check or regular check or welfare or something like that. But that doesn't hurt the campaign, but that's just where they're going. Fine. It's again,
It's like they've got to try to twist something. What was it that did come out? Like, he had a DUI, like 20, 30 years ago, and he doesn't drink now. It's like, okay, what other dirt? Like,
meets learning. That's what.
I think we could all look at Don Jr. and think he could be locked up on any given day for over medicating. And even Trump.
So
I keep dropping cards tonight and losing them.
Don Jr. and Eric Jr. they have teased as of 2 days ago that their family could be coming out with the cryptocurrency.
Okay, I'm listening, but I have to go around my card under the Christmas tree. So I'm still here. I'm just walking around.
And Donald Trump made an announcement that they have this incredible plan to sort of take on the banks and all this other kind of stuff. I mean, I get it. If you have a cash cow, which his voters are, because they can sell them anything and they'll go and take it, they'll go and buy it, they'll go and use it, whatever the case may be. I get it. But come on, at some point, really? Anyway, what I want to know.
It's separated from my dick.
What I want to know is, will they have any legal trouble as a result of this? Everything they do when they set up something that has something to do with money, it ends in a scam in a lawsuit. And even if it takes years, like for Trump org, it ends in a scam and a lawsuit, like the NFTs. So if they do this, they haven't announced that they're doing it yet. They've teased it on Twitter. But if they do this, will this end in a lawsuit or legal action of some sort? That's right. See, he was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago speaking at a Bitcoin convention.
Beth Cat's saying he was in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Trump was speaking to a Bitcoin convention.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. Yes, there will be an action taken against him. There'll be a whistleblower on this also because there's steady money going somewhere that it's bullied. It's a strategy. They may have even like moved some money overseas or something out of America, moved it. Whatever it is, like there's like a lot of money, abundance. So this will get revisited. What's really funny though is I have the Ten of Swords on the bottom, like an ending, a death, or whatever. And what I'm getting is Melania will need to protect whatever money there is because the loser is going to lose it. He can't hang on to money. He's gonna do something bad or nefarious with it. He can't hang on to it, or lose it in another lawsuit or something where he's got to pay up.
Like, I don't understand. Don't you learn from anything, for God's sakes? No.
Everything's about what do I have on my plate right now. They don't even think about the future in getting caught. How much ketchup do I have on my plate today? I don't care if I've got a stash of ketchup for later.
There is 5 of Wands and 2 of Swords. Yes, there will be a lot of conflict regarding this. Because it's almost like you set everybody up and then you yank something from under them and then you left. So they're blocked either from their investments or they're blocked from something. Kind of like your Trump media company right now having a net worth or a net gain or net profit, or not profit, but operating costs or whatever he called it, of under $1 million or something like that. And so you dump a bunch of money in so you can take people's money and then run down the street with it. So here is your investment. And then over time with the Wheel of Fortune, it becomes quite clouded with the 7 of Cups and quite hazy, gaslit. They'll tell you it's doing fine, and then there's nothing there. And then you have the regrets in the 5 of Pentacles. With 5 of Cups, 5 of Pentacles is loss and regret and lack and poverty. Will there be some lawsuits over it? Yeah.
Yep. He keeps wanting to, make the U.S. government under crypto. It's like, that is not a good idea. And when you look at all the world currencies, they're based on the dollar.
Crypto's not money.
It's not real.
If you have money to invest in it, go for it if you want to, but it is not.
Look at how many crypto people have ended up in jail. There's a lot of Ponzi scheme activity with them, and a lot of them end up in jail. So
research. Looking ahead, this may also kind of tell you where the presidential election may go. Crystal ball. In 2025, what will it look like for the DOJ versus Donald Trump? Will they leave him alone, as in he's the president, or will they go and do their job, as in he's not the president. DOJ versus Donald Trump 2025.
I'm going to set this one out because it was in his UT. Right there.
Okay.
Couldn't happen to a nicer man.
I mean,
I think by then he has so many court cases that he gets confined or constricted somehow. I get the anxiety card, and at the root of this, the tower. Like, he has his demise. Everything is changing for him. So they may be looking at other things that he's done that are not on the up and up, and how he has secured some of his money and hung on to it, and also looking at more of his properties, investigations. So there will be more investigations, but I think he's already confined somehow. So they may hold off on additional charges next year. You know, we got earlier, like a few weeks ago, we got that he would probably face some more indictments this year, but people he's partnered with ought to run like hell, because they'll go after them too.
they're not. They don't learn either.
Yeah. And the main thing is there's such an imbalance of what he says that they may put him in that straitjacket, like I always see him in. Somehow tie him up.
Two of Pentacles first card. There is a struggle to juggle in the midst of chaos. There is the Judgment card. So he's got a bunch of stuff that is still reoccurring or coming from the past. There's also some judgments. So something may be wrapping up in 2025 if it's just one thing. The Two of Wands, there's plans to maybe start something else, because again, we have a resurrection card. So there could be starting something else there. The Ten of Pentacles, this also has something to do with his family and family fortune. So I don't know, because mind you, the Letitia James thing is still hanging in the balance with his saying that he shouldn't be this and shouldn't be that and blah, blah, blah. So his family business could still be called to the carpet there too. And then the Nine of Wands, pressure and strain. And so overworked and battle worn and battle weary. So 2025 doesn't look too freeing either. Good for you.
Rexy. Rexy looking at Mom adoringly.
Let's go here. Will Joe Biden achieve more or accomplish more before his term is over? Because he just got bad news with his student loan thing, but he's still trying. So there's that.
Yeah, he's got more things he's trying to get wrapped up.
Mm-hmm. Will he get more accomplished?
I still think he'll be looked at as one of the most successful presidents ever.
100%. But mind you, he got stuff accomplished with the Republican House.
Mm-hmm. He's getting to higher ground on something, because that's on the bottom. Yeah, he's going to have more growth, like in our economy. I'm getting, before he's gone, he's getting to higher ground on something that he's been pushing for steadily. A new project that he's able to push forward and get it going. There may be something about student loans or something like that he's been talking about. And then there's something with like wealthy people that they're not going to be happy about. Changing something about the way they accrue their wealth. So he may get something done with taxes. Get some kind of agenda pushed through that kind of pisses off the wealthy people.
I get something related to something abroad, something foreign that that people really want, and I'll leave it at that. Say on that matter.
There's something around women's health, but it's more of a, thank you, Gloria. It's more of a, I don't want to say token, but it's not like Roe v. Wade or something. It's not something big. It's something little, but it's an accomplishment that Republicans don't like. I'll say it that way because it's a fight to get it in the first place. But with the Empress and the Knight of Cups, it is something that does get accomplished, though. And it does have something to do around women's health, or health care, I should say. Here is something with student loans, so he is still trying to do that. The Hangman, it may be stopped at the moment, but something's being worked out to where you have the Six of Swords. It will eventually transition, even if this is December 31st type thing. But there's something that goes ahead. There's also something around the airlines. I know he was doing the you can't hide fees type of thing against the airlines, hated it. They all sued him or his administration. There's something else, though, around that and the airlines, because there's some laws or some ordinances or something that's put into place, like something that he had to sign. So there's a law put into place there. But the end of the reading is the sun. So yes, he's still at work. Keep in mind. So go Kamala, but Joe Biden is still at work. So that we can look forward to still. And then you would have earned your rest, sir.
I feel like there's something he's going to lay the groundwork on too, so that Kamala can come in and have like an immediate success with something.
That'd be smart. That way she can also tout, let's keep, like she was saying too, let's keep something going. Let's keep this, whatever she said, going.
Yeah, so I feel like there's something he's going to lay groundwork on, whether it's Supreme Court ethics reform or whatever. There's something he's laying groundwork on that she's going to take over.
I don't want to throw tomatoes or have this be a throwing tomato session. What is the role of Merrick Garland in Kamala Harris administration?
I was going to ask you when we were looking at what are y'all doing? Don't tell me somebody has a mouse. Nope, they're just chasing. Usually when I see Skewy running and the other cat's following him, it usually means he has a mouse and they're following him because he has a mouse. Yeah, when we were looking at the Justice Department, I wanted to see, is Merrick Garland still going to be in the Justice Department?
I'll just say that. I don't want to, Thank you, Judy. Because he's just, no. And here's another thing. First of all, Democratic presidents, stop hiring Republicans to be in your administration. I understand bipartisanship looks cute, but it's not. Hire a Democrat. That doesn't mean you're going to get in there and do the best job, but still stop doing it. Yeah. Republicans don't get in there and then hire a bunch of Democrats because we're trying to get away with stuff. So,
yeah, I think they should replace Christopher Wray too before Kamala comes in. What's his role? Oh, a little burdened. He's done. I got the pack your bags, you're moving, and you're done card. Everything's wrapped up. He's moving on. She's looking for somebody she's known in the past. She's looking at somebody else to take over DOJ. I'm getting another man. Prosecutor of some kind. Just to get it cleared, through the House and Senate or whoever, to Senate, I guess, where they do the meetings to clear the cabinet.
Confirmation hearings.
Confirmation hearings. Thank you. Just to get an agreement from Republicans. That could be a little touch and go, like they don't want to. I mean, at some point, I'm like, okay, don't do a confirmation hearing. Do like Trump did and make him acting this and acting that. He never had anybody confirmed other than Bill Barr. Everybody else was acting. Somebody's going to come into it that's guns blazing, that will go out there and fight all this crap. Take on all these court cases.
My last card is the Fool. So this is him going off doing something else. I get the inkling, though, whoever it is has a very interesting background, like ethnicity-wise. It's either her or I'm picking up somebody like that, though. So either she's there and that's her, or she's bringing in somebody that has that type of thing. But for whatever reason, that keeps running through my head. So I just go to the last card. He goes somewhere else.
I get he's sailing off into I asked if he would remain on her administration. He sails off into the sunset. Which I kind of feel bad about that, because we got so used to Donald Trump politicizing the DOJ. They were holding press conferences once a week to just gaslight the American public. And then all of a sudden DOJ goes radio silent. Well, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it was during
tri-course cases in public.
Yeah, that's how it was during the Obama years. However, I understand a lot of the holdover and him getting sidetracked or whatever from the previous administration, not telling him stuff. Or do you see what I'm saying? I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like, dude, why did you wait so long? Why did you wait so long for January 6th? You saw it. Along with the rest of us, we saw it. And you waited a year, 2 years to do anything?
I mean, imagine if the police waited that long to arrest anybody.
And then what did he do? He took it off of him and put in a special counsel to do it.
Well, which is the right thing to do.
But he could have done that
doesn't appear
right off the bat.
political.
Yeah.
But you waited 2 years to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I can understand, but there are certain things where I'm just like, what were you doing, dude?
And Jack Smith was a good idea, but he was a good idea 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like all those stalled court cases would have been held by now if he started right off the bat. Now, I realize, if he had put a special counsel in right away, it probably wouldn't have been Jack Smith, because he was involved at the Hague.
And
You found somebody competent because all you had to do was look.
And here's another thing with coulda, woulda, shoulda. We don't know what the results would have been if he had put in a special counsel 2 years ago, because we all know that Donald Trump's MO was to delay. And now the Supreme Court, with their immunity thing, all those cases are going to get tied up in court between the courts, the appeals, and the Supreme for who knows how many years before it gets resolved. You know what I mean? Minus the classified documents case, because there's no way you can say he stole documents, obstructed justice, and all of that as a private citizen, and it was an official act. That's just, they're going to have to twist themselves into pretzels. But it's just, come on, man. Come on. You know?
So I have... couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Giuliani's having money issues.
Oops.
And I don't have my 20 bucks with me today. They're in my other shirt. So I want to see his financial outlook or future, however you want to word it, like what's going forward. And then I have another question after that.
You told him you have to sell your apartment and your house in the Hamptons and give the money to the nice lady.
Bankruptcy was not his salvation. He thought it would be, but it was not, because he can't file for bankruptcy.
And he can't walk at conventions without falling over.
I tell you, he saw something on the floor. He just wanted to be closer to it.
That man drinks breakfast, lunch, and dinner. and a midnight snack.
Miller Light, Miller Heavy, Miller Medium, all of them.
He's a three martini appetizer for lunch. Lunch is about 10 more.
Bloody Mary's a vegetable, isn't it? Or it's a fruit. Isn't it tomato? It's a fruit.
Bloody Mary's a tomato drink.
That's a fruit. That's healthy.
Yeah.
Get you a celery stick.
Get you some olives.
That's what I say about my milkshakes. It's got vitamin D in there, calcium. We'll be all right.
You know, there's no point in Trump paying him now, because he'd have to give it to the ladies in Georgia. He's going to have to move in with one of his kids. He's screwed. Everything's been manipulated, and he's out in the cold from what little money he's got left. I get like he's appealing like to one of his kids to move in with him. He's getting very, very confused too. So I don't know if he's got dementia or
alcohol brain.
Alcohol brain and COVID farts, Johnny.
Great combination.
He might end up institutionalized eventually.
At the Four Seasons.
At the Four Seasons adult bookstore. Landscaping and crematorium. He can work as a landscaper.
He likes the ground.
He might be a little slow at trimming it, but while you're down there, trim the grass.
Give you some scissors. He ain't got to get up. Just give him some scissors.
That's so pathetic.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I did a box spread for the next 3 months. I don't know if you can see that, but that ain't good. The snake, the mice, the man, the key, there's the finances, the cross, the whip, the child, and the scythe. Significant financial burdens and problems. Suffering from addiction here. Nervous breakdowns here. serious financial problems with finances being cut off here. He's facing a lot of suffering and almost like an not indictment, but like a conviction. Like that decision over the next bit looks like it's right there, like it's coming, like a conviction. There's also a fight with a man who abused power. So we can try to figure out who that is. A man.
My next question goes there.
Huh?
So my next question kind of goes there.
You better hope he gets thrown in jail, because at least that's free.
The man, the bear, and the whip. A man power abuses. Do you see what I'm saying? So a man that abuses power. There's a fight with that guy there. There's going to be a big fight because he's going to call that guy a liar. He cut me off from my money. He owes me money. That whole shenanigan is going to happen. He's just the resources are dwindling away. They're being taken away from him, if that makes sense, as part of some sort of financial penalty. The key, the bear, and the cross, a significant financial penalty or a burden. Probably Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, are those their names? The people that sued him. Yeah, he's roached is all I'm gonna say.
It's in the Shady Pines.
He's gonna need to go to prison, because at least that's paid for. He'll have housing.
Get your money. Do not believe that he doesn't have what he needs to have. There's some manipulation around that. But he ain't got enough to pay all those judgments. But he's got some money, so don't let him say he ain't got but 38 cents. No, you got my 10 million and 38 cents. You can keep your 38 cents, but give me my money, sir.
His apartment alone is worth $4 million.
The situation is causing a lot of stress, a literal nightmare, because when you covet money, losing it is a very big deal. And for him, mind you, he could have stopped at any moment. Which my next question. Does he blame Donald Trump for all of this? Or is he taking personal responsibility? But does he blame Donald Trump?
He's got Georgia trial to go. Arizona's indicted him, and I don't know who all's indicted him so far. He's off my radar at the moment.
Hasn't he been disbarred in the state too?
Yeah, got disbarred in DC.
DC.
Yeah, he can't file bankruptcies. Like,
his hair is melting. Can't catch a break.
He gets filmed with his hand down his pants, trying to get frisky with a. Like, no. What a hot mess, dude. That guy is the hot mess express, man. Does he blame Donald Trump for all his problems? Yes, that guy has done nothing but deliver him bad news and a bunch of problems that come in the form of written paperwork. So, indictments. Yes, he blames Donald Trump. And also the problems that he got into with the delivery of ballots. So all that scheming and stuff in the swing states and everything, problems delivered. What is being delivered? The ballots. So yeah. Which you let yourself get talked into this. You were supposed to be the lawyer. If you weren't intoxicated half the time, maybe your brain would have been screwed on right, and you would have said, this is a bad idea. We're going to get caught, and it's not going to fly. But he drank the Kool-Aid, and they thought they were all on the Trump Express, and they were going to be successful, and here you are. How many indictments has he had? He's been indicted in Arizona. He's been indicted... Where else?
Georgia.
In Georgia.
And in DC is where he lost the case to the Georgia ladies.
Uh-huh. So, yeah.
And he's got that aide that's still after him too. Remember
he's got the aide, and he's got Smartmatic and Dominion still after him.
Yeah. Yeah, and
that's why my spread, my money spread said he was done. Like, his money is done. I mean, it's not Smartmatic. Dominion was suing him for $1 billion by himself. They got 780 something million from Fox News. They're coming after Rudy Giuliani too.
Yeah,
you know, defamation and stuff for lying. It was the snake, the mice, and the man. The man that's lying about something being stolen, and that's where his money suffers from. There, it's a significant penalty. Yeah.
Yeah. Emissary for the king. He was very naive and should have blocked Trump. He should have laid low around him. He's getting actually quite emotional now about it. So it's like, it's just, and Rudy, I don't give you 2 cents for feeling naive about Trump, because you knew exactly who he was in New York.
Been your friend since 1915.
Yeah. Thank you, Claudia. But he's getting quite emotional about it now, and he's sort of drinking a lot and drowning his sorrows over Trump. But he does look at Trump as the one who put him in defense mode and brought all these court cases up over and over again. So you're not naive, Rudy. You knew exactly who he was.
And he was arrogant enough to think that they could get away with it. So,
because he knew him before he became mayor in New York in the 80s or early 90s.
King of Swords, Burden, 10 of Wands, Bully, 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, Betrayal. Yes, he feels as though this is his fault. No, you could have said no at any. You're a grown man. We have 2,222 people, 2222 in here right now. Okay, last question. They played Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" at the Trump rally. That song was featured in the movie Titanic.
I like where this is going.
oh my God! I heard
that movie is about a boat, if y'all haven't heard, that hit a couple pieces of ice, not mountains, and ice, and it sank into the water. And they're just sitting at the bar like, "Oh, we'll be all right," taking on a bit of water. And then it broke in half, and then a bunch of people died, and some people lived, and so forth and so forth.
Some people bobbed around like ice
They
cubes.
had lifeboats, and this is just hypothetical. We're going here because I'm being very petty right now.
Well, because look at what happened to the Trump Navy too.
Oh my God!
They don't do well with boats, it seems. So, and then the Celine Dion camp, they said, don't use our song, first of all, and second of all, that song, really? It's like, of all the songs, that's the one. Why don't they play Kid Rock songs at the thing? He likes you.
He's over there performing at the RNC in front of a crowd of 12 people. He's really famous.
He should have used "All by Myself."
Hey, Vanilla Ice. I mean, he had one hit in his life, so go use him. But anyhow, what I want to know, they had life rafts on the Titanic for those who could escape the water or the sinking ship. If there was room for just one more, would it be J.D. Vance or Ted Cruz? Ted Cruz was the most unpopular person until Maybelline came along with his fresh new look. And now he is polling at a -1,000. Who would they let into the raft? J.D. Vance.
Who would get the last?
Who would Trump let in the raft?
Who would get the last spot off the Titanic? J.D. Vance or Ted Cruz?
If Trump was choosing, who
No,
got in the
just
raft?
period.
Okay, so if
Oh, Lord.
Spirit was deciding who would get in the raft. J.D. Vance or Ted Cruz?
Linda, neither. Leave it blank. Right. Oh, Lord.
I just heard there's not room for JD's couch in the raft.
Let's here. Copy. Paste.
So Shady Vance. I get the anchor, the woman, and the
The anchor, let him sink.
let him sink. All of the women, an abundance of women would let him sink. Okay. And then for Ted Cruz, he would try to cosplay as a little kid to get a spot and be like, no. So the kids would take that one. So I think that they would just let them both not get life jackets or rafts.
I'm getting it depends on which one can get the donations higher. So, it's kind of like selling pardons. Whoever can bring in the most money of those two, that the decision would be made on that.
I mostly got women and children, Peggy. An abundance of women and a lot of little kids and their siblings. So no, Ted Cruz and Shady Vance can, they're such manly men. They can just go jump in the middle of the ocean and try to swim back.
Yep. I mean, they're both bullies. They're both bullies. They're both toast, like karmically. But I get there's healing for them coming. It's just right now they're tied to money and tied to the devil. So healing on the other side when they get there.
Ted Cruz gets the lover's card, and Mike Vance. I almost said Mike Vance. Ted Vance, what's his name? J.D. Vance. He gets the 4 of Pentacles. There's no more room left. This is conservatism. Sorry. No room in the inn. Go have your baby in the stable.
So what does that mean with the lovers for Ted Cruz? He has to make out with somebody to get
No,
him?
they'll let him in. They're his friend, like-minded person. They'll let him in over J.D. Vance. So thank y'all for coming out. I put 2 links in the chat, and let me do that a different way here. So right now, before y'all leave, I want y'all to go over, click that link, go over to Trillium Tarot, and I think it's like a 4-minute video or something like that. Watch the video. That is the tarot deck that I was using tonight. Make sure to leave her a comment when you go over there as well, because it helps the channel. So go over there, subscribe, and all that good YouTube stuff. But make sure you leave a comment. You leave a nice comment. Don't be ugly. Go over there and leave a comment on the channel. And that video is going to start playing, I think, in about 15 minutes or so, because it's going to play kind of live, if you will. It's a premiere, so it looks live, but we'll all be in the chat still. So y'all can go over there. I'm going to go over there, and we'll still be in the chat. So we'll see y'all on Jen's channel next week. Thank y'all for coming out. And I had a whole bunch of questions, and I'll do videos on them. Thanks for leaving them on the community page, which is where we take the questions from. So we'll see y'all next week.
Night, everybody.